Hey, it's the Cheap Bonding with Board Games and RPGs. This is the third installment, the third episode of my Mythic Game Master Emulator series. So in this one, we're going to kind of put it all together. I've got my scene sheet. I have my fate chart. I've got my notepad here. Just for this, we're going to use War Stories, which is a World War II RPG, since I set up that we're in Scandinavian country and we're infiltrating behind enemy lines. We're going to blow up a dam. I thought, okay, we'll use this. So, using the Mutant Year Zero system, I don't have characters made up or anything, but you need sixes when you roll both attributes and skills. So you're rolling a bunch of dice trying to get sixes. And I have my percentiles, but I'm missing one. Let me go find my other percentile. And it was in my pocket. So let's assume, just for fun, that we've successfully infiltrated. So we've gotten through the front lines. For scene progression, again, remember, think movie. What would happen next logically? Well, we're behind the front line. We're not wanting to get into any fights here. I'm imagining that when we crossed, we're not in uniform, just so we blend in a little bit. Let's go even a little bit further. We're in German uniforms. Okay, I like that. We have to steal some vehicles. I suppose we could move on foot to our location, but might it be better to steal a vehicle? Now, who knows? I'm not going to go into, maybe it would be better to just cross, but we're going to have to go steal a truck. And I'm going to put that where we were situated is the end of the last scene. We got through the enemy lines. And so now we want to go get a road. We're going to find a road. And I think we could roll right on that. Our goal is find a road, and then we're going to stop a truck and take out the driver and take the truck. I like it. There's our scene. So that's our scene setup. I would make notes on my sheet. Matter of fact, I'll just do it. All right, find the major road, take a truck. So before we send out our scout to go see if he can find a road and get some intel for us, we would need to roll a 10-sided die to see if there's an altered or interrupted scene. So again, our cast factor is 5. 9. So normal. We move forward as normal. We'll resolve that in a second. But had we had a 4, it would have been something would have interrupted us before our scout goes out. Or maybe as soon as he goes out, he runs into a sentry. If it was altered, maybe it's, hey, we didn't find a road, but we found a river. And there's a boat on this river, and we can use it according to the map to get us closer. It could be something like that. But let's just come back to checking and seeing if our guy, let's assume there's nothing altering or interrupting the scene, and let's use the game system to see if our guy's successful. I'm going to have one of my characters first go out and scout. I probably have one that's a better scout. So I want that single character to go out and scout the area. Let's assume, using War Stories, that I have someone who's really good at reconnoitering. I'm going to just say that he's rolling 10 dice. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going to, let me get this out of the way. So this would be within the game. This isn't Mythic, but now, whoops, we just know he's going out to reconnoiter. So we're going to use this. I need a 6. I got a 6. All right. So I just needed a simple 6. If you don't know how the Mutant Year Zero system works, you take attributes, you take skills. That's how many dice you roll. You need a 6. If it's an easy success, probably 2 6s for a moderate, 3 6s for a very difficult test. All right. My guy went out and he spotted the road. But now I want to ask a Mythic question. He's come back with the intel. So I don't know what he found out there. And maybe the first question is, how heavily trafficked? So it's a yes, no. So maybe the first question is there a lot of traffic on this road? I'm going to think that we're still fairly close to the front lines. I think that's probably unlikely. I think there's probably some, but I don't think it's like 50-50. So I'm going to go with unlikely that there's heavy traffic. So the question, is there heavy traffic? If I get a 35 or less, it's going to be a yes. Oh, 15. So had I been a 7, it would have been an extreme yes. Maybe it's not only heavy traffic, but it's tank traffic. We didn't get that. We just got yes. So 15, yes, there's heavy traffic. Our sniper scout comes back and says, oh, I found the road, and the problem we're going to have is how do you take down a single truck? There's trucks both directions. It's going to be rather difficult at this point in time to just get one without exposing herself. Interesting problem. By the way, when I rolled 15, had that been 11, I would have had a random event, but obviously 15 is not 11, 22, 33, 44, 55. So no random events here. So what's the next scene progression? How do I want to deal with this heavily trafficked road? I'm going to go with this. We are going to stealthily using the system, so maybe we'll have to do some stealth rolls. I'm not going to play that out here. We move into a good overwatch position that the sniper scouts already picked up. It's close enough, maybe 100 yards from a wooded protected location where we can hold ground. But if we were to see an opportunity, maybe a car gets a flat or a truck gets a flat, we might have the opportunity to go in and get a vehicle. So that's what I would do. We would use a stealth check, get into the woods. We have an overwatch position. That would all be handled by game rules. Got it. We get into position. We're now observing and we're looking for the opportunity to go down and, maybe there's a break in the traffic, or like I said, maybe somebody gets a flat tire. Maybe, here's my first question. Does a truck pull over because the driver has to take a leak? Ooh, and he runs. So let me ask that first. Does the truck pull over because a driver of the vehicle needs to relieve themselves? That's a yes/no question. I think this is probably, I'm going to go somewhat likely. You're on long haul driving. Somebody's probably got to get out and take a leak now and then. Now, 65%, that may be too much just to be right in our area, but who knows? Maybe the gods are smiling on us. Percentile dice. 26, that's a yes. We needed 65 or less. 13 or less would have been an extreme yes. I think maybe that means it's not like he comes right in and we're able to take him out easily. I think we're going to have to maneuver on this person. So we would maneuver on this person. I might even ask a secondary question. Is it our side of the road? Let's not make it too serious, too easy. Now 50-50 is literally, would he go to the right? Would he go to the left? I don't know. Is it our side of the road? So 50 or less is a yes. It's 14, so it's not an exceptional yes, but yeah, it's our side of the road. So we have the position that we can maneuver on him. I would come back into the game rules, and maybe I send my sniper scout, who's the most stealthy, and he does a roll and a movement to see if he can move up, and then he does a melee combat to see if he can take this guy out. That would, again, all be handled by the rules. Let's assume all that went well. It's done. I think we would wait for there to be a moment where we could, I think the same one of our people would make sure he's either dressed similarly or take the jacket of, as long as it wasn't covered in blood, of the driver. He's going to look like the driver. It would pass, there's cars moving, but the cars that saw the driver go in there probably aren't going to be close enough to see, oh, that's a slightly different guy coming back out. No. Let's use my best melee fighter, because we're nervous that what if there's a passenger in this truck? Okay? Subterfuge, and we're ready to cover, but this is quite a bold move. Not sure I would do this. That person's now going to impersonate the driver. He's completed the leak. He's walking back to the truck. We're going to go to the fate system. Is there a passenger in that front seat? I'm going to assume either my guy's got a knife or maybe a silenced pistol. Now, I don't know. Are they rolling with two people? Only one got out to take a leak. We also don't know if anybody's in the back of said truck. We'll get to that in a second. First question is 50-50. Is there a passenger sitting in this truck? I don't know. 60. So again, cast factor is 5. We're assuming it's still 5. 60 is no. So it's just told us our guy gets up there. He doesn't know. He's got his silenced pistol ready, but he's got to be really careful. He opens the door. He climbs in and he's ready. And nobody's in there. Nobody's in the truck, at least in the front. He's good to go. So we go back to the game thing, and I think he's going to pull up a little bit and then kind of maybe get closer to the woods where we are, assuming there's still some traffic back and forth. And he's going to get out and he's going to do a subterfuge that maybe there's a problem with the tire. And he's going to take a peek into the back of the truck. So now he's taking a peek into the back of the truck. I might do this before we do the peek, because if there's troops in there, he would probably hear coughing or conversations. So let's ask that first. We don't know. It's not like he couldn't hear that if he's sitting in the truck and the engine's running. Maybe he pulls up, gets really close to, 100 yards from where we're hiding in the woods. Maybe it's 50 yards and he turns off the engine. Maybe it was idling before, and now our guy's just going to listen. And I think, again, I don't know, 50-50 troops. Maybe the question is, if the vehicle is headed to the front line, it might have troops. If it's headed back, it could have wounded troops. So maybe the question is 50-50. Was this vehicle headed to the front line? 80. No. It's not a exceptional no, it's just a no. But now we know it must be headed away from the front line. So that is going to lead me to ask a secondary question. I think it's probably pretty likely that there would be wounded in the back of this truck. We're leaving the front line. 75% chance there's wounded people. He hears moaning and wounded people in the back. 75 or less is a yes. Drop the die. 62. So yeah, 75 or less was going to be a yes. He hears some coughing and some moaning. Oh boy. This is terrible. So I would have preferred it be empty because, we're basically spies. Do we have to kill the wounded? Woo! So you get some tough decisions here. I won't go into any of the gameplay, but you can see you got an issue here. But knowing that they're wounded, maybe we don't have to. Maybe they'll help with the subterfuge of us jumping in. But he signals over, and maybe there's a lull in the traffic, and we wave our friendly troops over. And the commander gets in the front seat. We're all in German uniforms. And as the other troops show up, and maybe we're changing a tire, we're briefed, hey, there's some wounded in the back. I don't know how bad. They sound terrible. And the commander decides, instead of just killing them all, that would be maybe terrible, not only morally, but for the cover. He says, hey, we got a medic in the group. Let's all jump in the back. Let's render some aid. And I think it might even help with cover. Love it. Now we've got that picture going, and we got some cover. So I'm going to jump this along here, but you can see we've now got our vehicle. The whole point was here, find a major road, check. Take a truck, check. We got her done. Maybe on this chart here, we actually list a couple wounded people that are inside the truck. We get in, one of our folks speaks German, maybe they all do, and we list maybe a couple of the wounded people here. And the medic actually uses dice and some of the bandages that are already in here, these German bandages, and he even tries to heal some of these wounded guys up. But you could have a problem with, what if someone's more of a walking wounded? They're not as serious. Are they going to be quizzing us? What's the danger here? So you might have some characters. We didn't really pick up a new thread there unless, one of the troops somehow got connected to one of these wounded folks. Maybe there's a nurse that's in the back that's ministering, and now the guys are, one of the guys is like, I don't kill women. I'm not going to kill this nurse. She's just a good person. That could be a thread Do you leave her behind? Would she tell on the group? What do you do? So you could end up with a crazy thread in there that could blow the whole mission, or you could end up with conflict where one of the guys doesn't care at all and is going to kill them. You can see all the problems that could come up in this just quick fictional thing I made up. It's like, oh my goodness. That is what this system does. So that's perfect. You saw our scene set up. We found the road. We used the game system. We then needed to take a truck. You saw how we worked all that out. You could see how combat could have been a deal. Everything's in play. You don't know, but the system gives you these little prompts and sets that scene up in your head. And then you would add your chaos factor. I think we're really in control here. I think we would go to a 4. We're really moving along, and I like it. I would be comfortable with moving chaos factor down to 4, which means things are more in our control. There's less options for an interrupted scene or an altered scene. All right, Chief, bonding with board games and RPGs. Again, like, subscribe. If you really, really enjoy or you want to see more, go to Patreon, look up Bonding with Board Games and RPGs. Might just be Bonding with Board Games. And you can support for just a couple dollars would be great. Or more. There's options for more as well. Chief, see you guys later. Bye.